division. My dogs that I missed from DC and RC. Brother, welcome. How has Vegas been this week for UFC 303?
Hot, RC. Let me tell you something, man. Going from Saudi Arabia to Las Vegas is not fun. It's been hot, but I'm going to tell you one thing about International Fight Week. You and I did DC and RC last year from the main stage. The energy, the people that come to Vegas for this fight week, unmatched.
DC, always good to see you, my man. Put into context Pereira and what he's accomplished as a two-division champion in this sport in such a short period of time.
You can't, Stephen A. You can't. The fact that this man has 12 fights, I always tell people this. I go, he really is an amateur. He has not fought an extended career to have met this level of success, to be the middleweight champ, to be the light heavyweight champion, to have headlined now Madison Square Garden twice, UFC 300, now International Fight Week. It is like nothing we've ever seen before. Conor McGregor will always be the biggest star this sport has ever seen. But when you talk about the face of the UFC, it is Alex Pereira.
DC, talk a little bit about how important it was that Poatan stepped up to be the main event after you lose such a big name like Conor.
You know, for the UFC, Ryan, and for most organizations, there's nothing they love more than someone reliable. When you say yes, especially when they need you, they start to call on you more, but they also start to line that pocket more. Hey,
Right.
Alex Pereira loves to fight, but Alex Pereira is not fighting for free. Every time he steps up in these big moments, he gets bigger checks. And by having the performances that he has, knocking out Jamal Hill at UFC 300, becoming a champion in New York City, it gives him even more opportunities outside of the octagon to cash in. So this man has made a legacy for himself inside the octagon in a short period of time, but he's also made life-changing money for himself and his family in a short period of time.
I respect Jamal Hill. You brought that name up. And by the way, I'm looking at both of y'all. I love having both of y'all on. Y'all been doing an outstanding job. Keep up the great work. I love the team, the tag team that y'all are. I'm looking at Jamal Hill that time before he went into the fight against Pereira. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, I mean, I respect him. I respect him. And I know he was undefeated himself. The brother can fight. Please, I'm not disrespecting, throwing no shade on him. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, that's just not the kind of guy that you want to be talking to like that. Now, in this particular instance, this fight, this is a rematch. Pereira already took this guy out. So why are we seeing this rematch?
Yeah.
Because Yuri Prochazka is the former champion, and he's a guy that's worked his way back to a title opportunity. He was going to be next anyways. Yuri had a horrible injury whenever he became the champ, had to give the belt away.
Yeah.
Came back from that injury and fought Alex, lost that fight. Then he came to UFC 300 and won. So you would have thought that he would be the next guy. And honestly, it's all about timing in the UFC. But Stephen A., when you were talking about Jamal and his interactions with Alex, I think the way that he is, Ryan, and the way that he's so intense, people don't know how to really operate with him. Man, Yuri Prochazka went up there yesterday at a press conference and said that Alex Pereira is essentially using voodoo. He has powers from his native land. They are so confused right now, guys, on how to deal with this man. They are now saying this man's using voodoo powers to help him do what he's doing in the octagon.
Chiming in on both y'all with this, because I want to hear from both of y'all on this. When I saw my man Adesanya knock out Pereira, I mean, I'm going like this because Pereira had his way with him before he got to the UFC, then he got to the UFC, and to go back in that octagon with him again and ultimately to take him out, I think to me that cemented the greatness of Adesanya in my personal opinion. But everybody ain't that dude. And they, like you said, something about voodoo or whatever. I got to admit to you, I don't know what you can try against Pereira at this particular point because he's moved up in weight and he's still knocking people out. The powers come with him.
You know, I'll take this one. We watched Jan Blachowicz, who was a former light heavyweight champ, try to take Alex down. And he was successful, but still he found a way to win that fight on the cards. And in the last fight, Yuri seemed to give him some trouble in the first round, just figuring out how awkward he was. But I'm going to hand this to you, DC. Have we ever seen anyone in the UFC with this sort of one-punch power? And it's all that left hook, and every time it lands, it's devastating. How would Yuri overcome not only being able to handle that type of physicality, but what it does to you emotionally and mentally when you feel that power going into the octagon a second time.
You know, so Yuri said that he left a lot of energy in the beginning, right? When Alex is just staring at him, Yuri's doing stuff like this. He's doing all this samurai stuff, and Alex Pereira's just staring at him. He said he's not doing all that anymore. He said he's got to stay locked in if you want to beat this dude because you can't make any mistakes. You make a mistake, he makes you pay. He knocks you out. No one was happier that Izzy won that fight, by the way, than Ryan Clark, because this dude is the biggest Israel Adesanya fan I have ever seen in my entire life.
I'm an Adesanya fan as well.
Said,
yeah, but not as big as RC.
But with that being said, there's this thing about Pereira, and I was telling someone this yesterday. I said, you guys remember when we would hear tall tales? People tell us tall tales of Paul Bunyan and all those guys when we were children. The stories would travel time. People will tell stories about Alex Pereira. They will say, do you remember the time, guys? And you'll know this, right? Even if you're not the biggest MMA fan, you'll remember this. Jamal Hill kicks him low, under the belt. Alex Pereira does this to the official, says, no, I don't need a break. And then 5 seconds later, he knocks him out.
I'm a big boxing fan, okay? Yeah. Always have been. I got so much respect for anybody in a pugilistic sport because y'all do what we...
I ain't doing it.
Nah, I'm not doing it, never, okay? So I got it. But here's what I think when I think about Pereira, this is what's special. He's a knockout artist. That's not the only way he can beat you, but he's a knockout artist. And I'm of the belief everyone loves the knockout more than anything, more than a submission or a tapping out. You want the knockout. And so to me, anytime you have I believe that's what made Conor McGregor a star.
Yeah.
You know, you certainly, you could win, but when you're knocking people out, as great as Nurmagomedov was, and we know he's better than Conor McGregor, we know what he did to Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is still the #1 box office attraction because of that reason, and Pereira now to me is the top box office attraction because of that reason.
Stephen A., don't you ever say anything about Habib around DC now.
Dude.
You can't.
No, I know how great he is. I know how great he is. I know how great he is. I'm just talking box office.
Yeah, hey,
I'm just talking box office.
Stephen A., he might jump through the screen and come suplex you behind his brother from Dagestan.
Oh my
right?
Lord.
You better watch yourself.
Nurmagomedov the truth.
Hey, but DC, what is next for Poatano, right? If he wins this fight and retains the light heavyweight title, he's already become a 2-division champ as quickly as anyone could have ever imagined. He's talked about moving up to heavyweight. He does seem to be the chess piece that the UFC can move around and build these huge fight cards around. What's next for him if he wins on Saturday?
You know, if he can get through this fight, and this is going to be a tough one because remember, RC, on all judges' scorecards, Yuri Prochazka won round 1. Yuri Prochazka was doing good in round 2. So this is a big fight for Pereira. But if Pereira can get through this, I mean, the world opens up to him in a way that you could never imagine. Anthony Smith is one of our guys at ESPN, and he's fighting this weekend. Him and Alex have been chirping at each other. This might be the right time for Anthony. But if Poatan really does say, I want to go up, I want to try heavyweight, could you imagine Alex Pereira versus John Jones?
No!
Stop
it!
Stop it! Don't you start building fantasy? Stop it! Don't you start building fantasy, DC?
We're talking about box office.
Oh, let me tell you, can I say this? Can I say this for the record? Let me say this to both of y'all. John Bones Jones is the greatest ever, in my opinion. And I'm telling you something right now. He will take Pereira out inside of 2 rounds. And he won't, and you know what? And he won't throw a punch. He won't.
He better not.
He ain't trying to sit up there and box.
He better not.
You understand what I'm saying? And strike. He ain't trying to do that. It will not be via a punch. I'm telling you right now. He will take him out. He can't mess with John Bones Jones. I'm telling you that right now.
Hey, to that
Stephen
point,
A. love John Bones, man.
Hey,
yes, I do.
DC, to that point, does the UFC need Alex to win tomorrow night?
I think so.
Is that very important as they continue to try to build a star?
And you see, that's the difference between this and like WWE, right? WWE and the UFC is now under TKO. It's a massive partnership. But whereas the WWE can tell you, I want Cody Rhodes to be the guy, the UFC can't control that. And I think that is what makes mixed martial arts, boxing, as special as anything. Look, guys, we never thought going into a Floyd Mayweather fight that he was going to lose. He was just too good. But with Pereira, anyone can beat him on any night. Do you remember when Amanda Nunes lost? Nobody
Yeah.
thought that would happen.
Yeah.
When Conor McGregor got beat by Nate Diaz, nobody thought that would happen. Some of the greatest upsets happen inside the octagon. So yes, it would benefit the company for Pereira to win because he got all this momentum. But if it doesn't happen, Yuri Prochazka kind of moves right into that position because now you just beat the man. Like Ric Flair said way back in the day, fellas,
Hey,
to beat a man, you got to beat him. When
Yeah.
you beat the man, you kind of get a little bit of the man shine.
I love it.
You better stay away from John Bones Jones. I'm telling you that right now.
Hey, you
He
sound
better
like
not-
Dana.
He better not go. He better not go near John Bones Jones. He better stay right at that light heavyweight spot. Don't come up there looking for no John Bones Jones, man. I'm telling y'all right now that will not bode well for him. I'm telling you.
DC,
sound
brother, we
very
appreciate
convinced.
DC, we appreciate you, man. Enjoy 303, bro. I miss you, my dog, man. Have a good day.
My brother, thank y'all, fellas, for having me again.
Get to some AC. Get some AC. Get some AC.
UFC 303 is tomorrow night at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, highlighted by the light heavyweight title main event. The main card begins at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on pay-per-view with the early prelims at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus. To order the main card in English and Spanish, go to espnplus.com/ppv.